Hey guys, sorry it's been so long. I know some of you have reached out to me about why we haven't been posting. Nothing crazy, just a lot of busyness between fixing both of these broken cars, and I've been traveling a lot for work. Dylan's had a lot of weddings to go to, so it's been kind of nuts for us. Uh, Quick recap. Dylan's car was down for a month. It is back together. It was down for a month because we screwed something up, and we decided to do all the Miatas at Gap prep at once. So he is all set to go. In 2 weeks, we're gonna start heading down. He's got new wheel bearings, oil cooler, new valve cover, catch can, all sorts of stuff. Check out our Instagram if you want to see what that looks like. His car feels extremely solid right now, so we're looking forward to bringing that down. And then this is the next guy. I had some transmission issues, which I'll probably intercut in here. I did some explaining on what was going on there. Good news, bad news. If you followed along last year, you know I had slave cylinder issues, and the clutch pedal felt like it was grinding whenever you'd put it in and out. And I think we're having something similar go on right now. Clutch pedal feels like it's grinding. I replaced the master already, and it's still grinding. So on this episode, we're gonna tear into it and drop my trans and see. So talked with David from Miata last night, and a couple other people, and they think that the clutch itself might be disintegrating inside and not the slave cylinder because it's intermittent, which is weird. So it is a month before Dylan and I are supposed to leave for Miatas at the Gap, and I'm gonna yank my trans, and hopefully there's another clutch like 10 minutes away that I can go grab that's big enough to hold the power we need. I have a spare slave cylinder and I have a rear main seal, so I'm gonna just do it all while I'm here and solve the problem, and then we'll go from there. So this is gonna be kind of like a hack together YouTube magic episode, just because I want to get it done. But Cam's here to assist. Sun's out, guns out. He's over there, and he's actually getting his car ready for inspection. But yeah, we're gonna drop the trans. I've already started taking the inside apart and forgot to film for you guys, so we're gonna get to that. Sorry if this episode's kind of weird, but Miata content. Interior's torn apart, shifter's out. Here's all the parts for it, and a little teaser. Got one of these bad boys, so we're gonna finally ditch that pile of garbage. KTuner, right? What? Right. All right. So next we're gonna go underneath and start pulling off the exhaust, drive shaft, and drain the fluid from the trans. There's really not a whole lot on this. It's actually easier on the K-swap than it is on a regular BP, just the way we have it set up with V-bands and everything like that. So let's get to yanking.
Now to check and see if I understand that you keep one power steering.
Well, hopefully you can hear me over the rain. I'm gonna show you. It is like monsooning out here. It's coming in the shots, but I shut these a little bit more.
Hey, that's why we have the drain here.
Yeah, luckily we got drains on the floor, so we should be all right. Crossover pipe is out, exhaust is out, everything on the trans itself is unplugged. I just got to pull the drive shaft and the PPF out, and then it's going to be time to wiggle it out and see what's going on. There's definitely a bird in here, but yeah, not too much left. Really, it's first time. It kind of sucks, but Brandon from Extreme Dailies, if you're watching this, gets easier when you do it 30 times. In my haste to get it out, I didn't film pulling the transmission, which I should have, because I forgot to cap the backside and spilled all 2 quarts on the floor. Luckily Cam came for the save, a little plug, but I have more, so it's not a big deal. I should have drained it or capped it. There's a lot of oil in there. You can see kind of here. The rear main was definitely, this is like the bottom of the transmission. something, either the rear main or the inside of the bell housing was leaking. So I'm gonna take a look at that now. The release bearing seems to spin just fine. So let's see if we can focus, there we go. So there's no issues here. That seems really good. Yeah, there's like a mess. This was clean when we installed it. So something's wrong. I have a new rear main. I don't know, it doesn't smell like trans fluid, so I don't think it is, but something's up. This could be part of my problem, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'm gonna clean that up, take a look in there, see what's going on, and then pop off the pressure plate and take the clutch off and see if the clutch is destroyed. Hopefully not, but we'll see. Hopefully something sticks out like a big red flag, but if not, I really don't know. We'll throw it back together and just send it. Cleaned it up. I think this guy was leaking a little bit down here, so I'm gonna take out the slave. I compared, this is the one they sent me earlier this year that was used on accident. Still haven't sent it back, but I compared throwout bearings, and they're both good, right? There's as much play as there is in this one as there is in this one. I'm gonna see if I can get on the phone with David and measure this guy. If this is a good unit, I might throw it in when I take this guy out. But I've unhooked the lines. I'm gonna undo this. It's like just 12s all the way around, pop it off, scrape it, reseal it, maybe put it back on. Took the clutch out and it looks okay to me. There's no, I was talking to Emil Tab who races GLTC, and he had a 4-puck ACT and it like disintegrated on him, but this actually looks really good. This looks really good still, and the flywheel, which I haven't taken out yet, which I will be, to replace the remain, also looks really good. So I don't know what's going on. When I take the flywheel out, since I replaced the face, I'm gonna double check that that's all tight, because that could cause chatter. There is obviously gonna be chatter on a 6-puck, but not in the pedal, shouldn't be in the pedal. So kind of sucks that there's no smoking gun, but it also could have been just the amount of oil that was in there. So after a long and informative conversation with David on the phone from Miata, we think we know what the issue is. I measured this distance here. Let me throw this in. So if any of you have this problem in the future, the distance from the front of this to the face of the bell housing, right? And it's 2.815 inches. And then I measured on the car from the fingers on the clutch, or on the pressure plate, to the adapter plate, which is where this sits against, and it was 2.875. So even with the pedal fully engaged, so this would be fully in. No, this would be, sorry, with the pedal fully released, so this would be all the way, in like that. It was still always touching by 60 thousandths. I have that backwards, but whatever. When this is not pushed into the fingers, it was always touching by 60 thousandths, which is why my pedal was releasing. Like when I wanted to switch gears, I just had to touch the clutch pedal and it would shift. It wasn't spinning yet, like the clutch wasn't slipping, but I would have probably started to slip. And the reason I've probably got like 1,000, maybe 1,500 miles on the turbo setup. The reason it's now a problem is because as the clutch wears, those fingers start to come out more, and it probably had like 10 or 20 thousandths of clearance, and now that it's worn out, it has negative 60 thousandths of clearance. So we have a local machinist guy who said he would gladly turn the back of this down on the lathe. So we're cleaning up now, and we're gonna head out there tonight and get it done, and then tomorrow I will pick this up and we will throw the camera back in, or throw the transmission back in the car, and get it all wrapped up. But that's a good result. I like that. David thinks the issue is between early and late model 6-speeds. This is like probably a 99 to 2000 6-speed, as opposed to like a 01 to 05. And this face is probably different, because with a regular clutch style, it's like a spring-loaded lever, and it doesn't matter where this is because the release bearing is just kind of floating in space. So he's working on something on his end, so if you have this issue, just keep that in mind. If your clutch is like really, really high in your K-swap, that might be why. Hopefully this fixes it. I will know tomorrow, because I'll have the car back together. But yeah, hopefully that does it, and at least it's a simple and free fix as opposed to, you know, my clutch being totally disintegrated or something that requires waiting for parts. So I'll take it. It's Saturday, we're back. I totally forgot to pick you guys up when I got back last night and also this morning. So quick update, we were able to, this is my other one, we were able to turn this down 200 thousandths. I mean, it fits, and now the gap, theoretical gap between the subframe, or between the pressure plate fingers and the throwout bearing is 125 thou, 0.125. That's like normal, so it should be perfect. Obviously I'm a little anxious about it just because I don't want to pull my trans again, but on that note, the transmission is 90% of the way back in. See if you can see it. So trans is all in. I'm going through the process of putting the bolts in. I'm on the last one, which is always the hardest. It's the one up on the top right of the transmission, passenger side, for you American folk or left-hand drive guys. It's under the coolant setup, so it's like really hard to get your fingers in there. But then I saw the GoPro and realized I didn't pick you guys up. So it's back in. It is Saturday morning, July 3rd, and it is 10:30. So my goal is to be testing this by noon, which I think we should have no problem with, especially transmission slid back in, no problem. Everything lined up really nice. Dowel pins are in. Everything was torqued. So should be able to fill it with fluid in probably half an hour here. I gotta put the drive shaft back in and the exhaust back up and the shifter back together, and I'm gonna do all that before I do anything with the Hondata, you know, one problem at a time. I don't wanna put the Hondata in, find out it doesn't start, and then I have no way to test the slave cylinder. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I will pick you up probably as I'm putting fluids in it. Clutch is bled. Already one of these in there, so I'm gonna see how bad I screwed this up. Oh, missed.
I have no issue with you from now. I mean, it's been autocross since
nice thing about the 6-speed is you can fill it from the top, and it only takes 2 quarts, whereas the 5-speeds take 2.1, and you gotta fill them from the bottom. So it makes this a bit easier. Quick update, everything is in, everything's hooked up. We bled the clutch, and you can definitely feel the gap like you're supposed to, right? There's like a light pressure, and then there's the pressure of pushing in the fingers on the clutch. And then when you release, it comes back up away after the clutch has been released. So it feels good. Once I put this in, I'm gonna slam the shifter in, we'll start it and make sure that like it moves and does everything it's supposed to. But I think we're in business. First start time, boys.
Hey, you know that wrench that's on?
Pro tip.
Were you filming that?
Yeah. Remove the 19 mil off your crank pulley before you start.
You were using the hole while you tightened all your transmission stuff.
It's alright. It's okay. Let's go. Started right up. Moment of truth. Oh, it's so good. So, yeah. Actually, that's perfect. The pedal gauge is like probably that far off the ground,
yeah.
And then there's that much engagement, and then there's like that much before it hits the top. So it's like,
yeah, it's better than the. This is your engagement zone, right at the top of the pedal. Right?
No, it used to be like you touch the pedal and it would release because it was already engaging.
Gotcha.
So this is
either way, it's way better than it was before.
Oh god, yeah. I don't even need to adjust the clutch pedal. Sweet. All right. Time to put a new ECU in, I guess. So I'm gonna run you through kind of what we're doing with the ECU in case any of you guys with KTuner K-swaps are planning to do the same. From HM Motorsports, I'm running a jumper harness. I'll put the link in the description for this. This is the 02 to 04 RSX ECU. This is the Hondata right here. This is the jumper harness, and this is the same pinout that the 05 to 06 RSX ECU or the KTuner has. So I will unplug the ECU, and it will, the wires for the harness will plug into here, and this jumper setup just moves the pins to where it needs to be. It's a lot easier than replacing the entire harness, cutting and splicing all sorts of stuff. The only thing, the extra wiring I'm gonna have to do, one of these is gonna be my wideband, one of them will be oil temp, and I believe that's it. One of them might be boost, but I don't think so. And then also the 02 to 04 RSX ECU doesn't, or has a wire for the VTC ground. Right now, this ground wire goes to a chassis ground because the ECU has no provision for it. So what we're gonna have to do is probably pull this back, cut and splice in here, and feed a wire back to the ECU on pin B23. Yeah, let's get to ripping the old ECU out. I took the seat out, which makes this whole thing a lot easier. There's the laptop. Here's some work stuff. It doesn't need to be here. ECU's under here, as you guys know. So I will show you that once it's out. So here's the mess. This was bolted up in here. I've already cut the wires. These are all labeled, right? This is my AFR line. Here's oil pressure and boost. But other than that, I mean, this is unplugged. This is what's gonna plug in. These 1, 2, 3 right here are gonna plug into the ECU jumper. And then one of these, I believe it's on this side, is where I have to tap in for pin B23 for the VTC solenoid. And that should be it. I mean, that plus hooking these up to that wire that was hanging out earlier, and we'll be in business. So real quick before I rip my car apart for science, ECU's in. I'll run you guys through that in a minute, what I did. I flashed a tune that Miata sent me. I dumbed it down. It's for their like 500 horsepower car, which this is not. But gonna give it a start attempt to show you guys it idles. It's nice. It runs a little rich, which better rich than lean for now. And Monday's dyno day, so we'll be good to go. But here's your starties. It's a little rough and a little rich, but better that than sitting at like 16. Yeah. So it's good enough to get to the dyno. I'll take it to W. It's running on Hondata finally. Alright, just gonna run you through what I did. So this is the jumper harness from inside the ECU. I have jumped in my boost, AFR, and oil pressure. I have to set those up in the ECU itself so that it reads those. And then this is the jumper harness from HA Motorsports. Mind you, it's super tight in here, so nothing looks pretty. The B21 jumper, I depinned a different unused connector, pinned it in over here, and it's actually, I gotta spin it around a little bit, but then ran a jumper wire up. Fed it through the engine bay, up into here, and then just onto the ground, or the negative of the VTC sensor. So that's all it is. That's all she wrote. Started up first try with the base map, and it was way faster of an upload than KTuner. All the options are much simpler than KTuner. Everything's right there. It's way faster, way better. Should have done this last year, but here we are. So I'm gonna throw that back together and get it ready for the dyno, I guess, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Make sure nothing leaks from underneath, which it looks good for now, but yeah, pretty pumped. Hondata KPro4 is in right now, and I was supposed to get it tuned yesterday, and we got like 3 to 4 inches of rain in 48 hours, so my tuner's driveway, which is always a riot, is totaled essentially right now. So I'm not gonna try and make it up there. He's got enough stuff on his plate to fix that. He got totally toasted by the rain yesterday. So what we're gonna do is actually do some remote tuning with Tuning by Nick. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel and you don't know who he is up in Toronto. Sorry if I'm a little bit off, but he's up in Canada, really right across the border. We'd love to go actually see him if the border opened, but he is like a Honda tuning aficionado. So he does all sorts of Honda stuff. He's got all sorts of cool videos on how to tune your Honda. If you want like crackle on decel, he's your guy. and we had a long conversation one night, and he and my tuner kind of convinced me that it's just time to get rid of the KTuner and go with Hondata. So that's where we are now. Check his channel out because he has this same engine essentially in his 911, and he did some crazy fab work to get that to fit. So awesome build, and like extremely capable guy. So he tunes all Speed Academy's cars. He's tuned Robbie Ferreira's Turbo Civic, and just all around super helpful, answers all of my questions, great guy. And so he's gonna log into my laptop now and get me going with at least a base tune. I don't know if we're gonna do any data logging, but I'll bring you guys along for what I can. I don't want to be like all up in his face while we're doing this, but I will definitely take you guys for a ride because it sounds wild now that I removed the silencer from the exhaust. It makes way more power because there's less restriction, and the boost does not fall off. I was like spiking to 18 pounds instead of 11. Thankfully there's things like boost cut. So we're gonna get this all situated now, and I'm excited to like drive this thing again. It's been a couple weeks. All right, so we've just spent a good 15-20 minutes on the phone. We're gonna go for a baseline, 5,000 RPM max, no full throttle, just to get a base kind of set up. Do some data logging. That's what we're looking for. We're looking at nothing crazy. I'm not gonna do any pulls, so I'll pick you guys back up once we're done with that. Hey guys, so mind my totally messy garage. It's been a minute since I filmed that last clip where we data logged with Tuning by Nick, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be getting on the dyno anytime soon, just based on how bad the driveway is and just my availability, because right now it is a little over a week before we are supposed to leave for Miata's Gap. It is the 23rd, so it's Friday, and Dylan and I are leaving on Tuesday the 3rd. So we have a week and a half. Update, I've done 6 tune revisions with Nick. We chatted, and he's helping me out with the actual e-tuning the whole car, which I understand is a pain, so I extremely appreciate it, Nick. E-tuning a boosted setup, there's a lot of variables to consider. So huge thank you for putting up with me and my constant data logs and whatnot. So the car feels incredible. His tune so far is great. We're at a 6,000 RPM red line right now, which yes is low, but we're only on Rev 6, so I'm hoping we'll go up from there. It is on wastegate, so it's 7 pounds, and it comes up to around 10 by 6,000 RPM, and it should hit 11 by like 7,500. So car feels great, runs great, sounds healthy, is super reliable, turnkey start, everything. The clutch has been great. I put probably 300 miles on it in the last week, literally driving everywhere just to test the whole transmission setup because I don't want to get stuck on my way down to Miata's at the Gap. There's some boxes you'll see in the car, which we're going to film an episode. We got some prep work to do on this car, including the new tires that are on it now, brakes and stuff like that, just to be ready, 100% ready, oil change, whatnot, for when we leave. So that'll be next weekend's episode, and then the weekend after that, we will hopefully see you guys down there at the Gap. So, quick recap. Huge thank you to Tuning by Nick for saving my butt here. I know enough buttons to push in the tuning software to cause problems. I don't know enough to tune a car, so I really rely on guys like him or Rick Gifford. If you're local to Rochester, he's the main tuner you've seen us use. He's incredible. Hopefully he gets his driveway fixed. It looks pretty rough. So yeah, going forward, I'm thinking we'll probably do a couple more revisions, I hope. And then, I'm not going to try and make a spicy tune before we go down to the Gap. I'm okay if it's 7/10. It's reliable, it's easy, it's on the motor, it's easy on the trans, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, so far so good. And leave a comment down below or message us on Instagram at Napp Motorsports or at Ermagerd Miata. You'll see the links at the end. If you are going to be at Miata's at the Gap, when you're going to be there, what you're bringing, we'd love to meet up with you guys. We're both super excited about it. We talked right before this. He's super hyped. So I can't wait to leave, honestly. I'm going to try and fit an air mattress and all sorts of stuff in this car, but it'll be tight, but I am pumped. So we will be leaving Tuesday, August 3rd. and we will be arriving Wednesday, August 4th. So the day after, we're going to stop in Cincinnati for the night. If you're in Cincinnati and want to cruise down on Wednesday, also let me know. So that's a wrap for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry it's been so long, but we will hopefully get back on the continuous content train here shortly. So see you guys at the Gap.